Hi, and welcome to Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Here is your host, Dr. and Evangelist K.L. Rich.
Hi, and welcome to today's podcast of Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Yes, they do. But before we go on with today's podcast, I'd like to invite you to visit us on our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. Again, that website address is www.narcabusenomore.org, and on our website you'll find valuable information regarding narcissism, relationships, and if you have missed any of these podcasts, all you have to do is go directly to our website and listen to us from there. Now, just to let you know, we're on every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, and that is on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, Castbox, and Deezer. We're also on Amazon Audible, Rumble, Brighteon, and the Tube. That's right, we're on YouTube. And for my SoundCloud listening audience, if you do not see the latest podcast there, then all you have to do is go to one of the other platforms and listen to it from there. Again, that website address is www.narcabusenomore.org. All right, what are we talking about today? We are talking about effective communication. So basically bettering your communication skills. One of the things that we find in relationships, especially when you're dealing with narcissists, is they don't know or want to communicate. Therefore, you will try to talk to them, and they're not, of course, empathetic. They're not listening. They're, again, devaluing you or undermining who you are. And so therefore, you're not able to effectively communicate with them. But the thing is that you do not want that to stop you from being able to have good communication skills. Now, you may not be able to do this with a narcissist per se, but hopefully you are getting out of those narcissistic type of relationships as best as you can and going towards positive relationships. So today we're going to talk about being able to communicate, and you can get a lot of what we're talking about today from Forbes.com, eight effective communication skills that you want to have. But we're going to talk about a variety of different things, because a lot of times people think that they are good communicators and they're not. I listen, but you don't. And we're going to talk about that today. So have you ever talked to someone and their mind was far away and you were just talking, but you can tell that they were not listening, or they might have gotten in on the end of what you said because their mind was somewhere else? Well, guess what? That's not communication. You want someone you need someone to talk, and one's gonna listen, and then one listen, and one talks, and that's the best way to communicate. Now, there's several different types of communication. So you communicate in various ways, even if you think you're not. The first one is verbal communication, of course. So this is delivered through you actually talking, a verbal spoken word. Giving directions, for example, is communication. You're giving someone directions over the phone. If you are your GPS communicates, is talking to you when you enter those coordinates that you want to go to, then it's telling you left, right, turn here on this street, here on that street. So it's verbal communication, okay, a spoken type of communication. And this communication is where you need to give clearly what you're trying to say, express it clearly. Another type of communication is non-verbal communication. This is your body language. This is your facial expression. We often watch people on TV because we like to see and also hear what they're saying and what they're doing. So even if you're not saying anything you're for us verbally. You're often maybe speaking with your facial communication. Sometimes people can't hide the reaction on their face, so you're speaking in your facial expressions, or you're speaking even with your body language. A lot of times when you look at whether it's animals or even babies, they often can tell if you're happy, sad, or whatever case may be by your body language. Another type of communication is the written communication. Okay, this is where you are exchanging thoughts, ideas, plans, or whatever through written form. Sometimes people better they communicate better through writing. Okay, so whether it's a text, whether it's a letter. Okay, many people may not write letters today, but letters used to be the thing of the day. Sometimes through emails. If you're on social media platform, whether it's LB, you got your messenger or whatever case may be. So through written communication. In order to have a good relationship or even be a good leader on the job, you have to be fluent in all three. Okay, it's best to be fluent in all three. Now, you might have a preference, but it's best to be fluent in all three. So, we're going to talk about 8 different ways that people need to communicate and be effective at communication, because oftentimes, again, people are not effective in communicating. They think that they're communicating, but talking at someone is not effective communication. Yelling at someone is not communication, effective communication. Putting someone down is not effective communication. Even if you have a high spirited conversation, you have to still guard your type of communication. So, number one, you want to be clear and concise about what you are trying to say. So that means that be careful with your word choice. Oftentimes you have people that want to, especially when you're dealing with narcissists, they want to play mind games. They want to make you guess at whatever it is that they want to relay to you, or whatever the case may be. You're not a mind reader. So and when you're communicating, you may not be able to control how someone else does, but when you're communicating, you want to be careful that you convey exactly what you intend to convey. So basically, no mixed messages. Be clear, be precise, even if you need to repeat in some cases, so to make sure that the person actually heard you. Be clear and concise about what it is that you want. Oftentimes in relationships, people fail to communicate what they really need out of that relationship, what they really want out of that relationship, and that should be done before the relationship begins, and then even during the relationship. If you're trying to, if you expect this person to guess because you think that, oh, they should already know, no, you should tell them. Make sure that you tell them what it is that you need out of that relationship. Number two, it's good to be prepared ahead of time when you're going to begin any type of dialogue or any type of presentation or any type of communication, whether it's at home or in a group or on your workplace, at the church, or whatever the case may be. So basically, if you are, for example, if you're having issues within your marriage or with the children, or whatever case may be, then it's good to maybe write those issues down so that you can be prepared to talk to that individual about what it is that is taking place, whatever it is that you may be dissatisfied with. This can even be when you're going on a job and you're wanting to negotiate a salary. Well, what is it that will cause them to want to give you an increase in pay? Be prepared. You feel like you need a promotion. Well, what is it that you've done that you can say, well, you know what? I've done A, I've done B, I've done C, I've done D. Be sure that you communicate with that individual by being prepared in advance. For example, whenever I take classes with, school or whatever case may be, I can't wait to communicate something to my professor at the last minute. If I don't understand an assignment, then guess what? I have to write it down and say exactly what I don't understand this particular section. I don't understand this particular question. Can you elaborate further on this? I have to be clear and concise, as we mentioned before, and be prepared ahead of time to communicate whatever it is that I am needing. Number three, be mindful of non-verbal communication. Oftentimes before you even speak the words, you may have the dislike, discontent, or whatever on your face. So non-verbal cues, they can impact the spoken word 65 to 93% according to statistics. So you want to be careful with your non-verbal cues. If you are frowning, if you are showing that you're basically you're unaffected, or should I say you're not interested, or whatever the case may be. Those who disagree, for example, if you cross your arms or you make certain types of eye contact. So you want to make sure that when you are trying to have a good line of communication, that you also be mindful of those non-verbal cues. Those non-verbal cues. For example, your children, you can probably look at them, and if they're doing something wrong, that look is a form of communication. All right, so just take that with you wherever you're communicating. Remember that nonverbal cues or nonverbal communication is just as effective and just as powerful as the ones that are verbal. Your facial expression, your body language says a lot when it comes to communicating. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
And that's Josh Grayson, You Raise Me Up. And we often can uplift people or put them down based upon our communication skills or the lack of. And we want to make sure that we have good communication skills. Another thing, number 4, is watch your tone. Watch your tone. You may be trying to have a positive connotation with someone, but you may choose a word that is unclear or something that's negative, or your volume may project in the wrong manner. So watch your tone. Now, you have some people that are just naturally loud, and they just that's just who they are. They just speak loud, and they do that with everybody. So you have to get to know the individual. If they're a loud person, or if they are a person that is monotone, or whatever the case may be, then you have to know how that particular person's personality is. So, for example, someone can just be naturally loud, but the person who's not used to being around loud people may take offense to it because they're thinking that person is yelling at them when they're not. However, if you are just a person that your voice rises and falls or whatever, based upon if you're upset or if you're depressed or whatever the case may be, then when you're trying to communicate something, make sure to be considerate of the tone in which you're coming to someone with. There's a saying that it's not what you say, but how you say it. And oftentimes that can be true in a lot of cases, that it's about how you say things. You can even say something that would normally be positive in a sarcastic manner, in a sarcastic tone, and then it's taken the wrong way. So, for example, you can have, I'm going to use the phrase, "You think you look good today." And that can be a joking manner. "You think you look good today." Or you can say, "You think you look good today." And it can be sarcastic. So it's the tone and how I say it depending upon what you're trying to get across. So again, be careful with your tone. Control how you talk to people and your projection or the intonation as to your choice of communication. Number 5, one thing that is so important in communication is being able to listen. Many people want to talk, but they don't want to listen. And oftentimes people that are not good communicators, what they do is, instead of actually trying to win someone over with their word, they try to yell. And that's like a 2-year-old in an adult's body. So as you get older, you should be able to voice your thoughts without having to scream them. If you're screaming, you're not communicating. So, but another part of that is being able to listen. You have some people that they want to do all the talking, but they don't want to take some time to listen. And a part of communication, when it involves two or more individuals, is having the art of listening. So you want to give the person a chance to speak and give them your undivided attention, as well as hoping that the other person will do the same with you. You want to make sure that you clear your mind of preconceived judgments or distractions. If you're listening to someone and they're talking, but then you already have your rebuttal plan in your mind, you already got your Matlock, your Perry Mason, or whatever going on in your mind, then you're not actually communicating this. You're actually wanting to win. You're practicing a debate, but you're not actually listening to what the person is saying. Try to avoid at all possible interrupting the individual and and interrupting even with your own thoughts. So sometimes we can fail to communicate properly because we won't give that person a chance to talk. And then you have those that even after you've listened to them, you start talking and they will immediately start interrupting you. That's not proper communication. Sometimes you have to shut things all the way down too. If someone doesn't want to communicate properly, then it's best to shut it all the way down until that person can decide, you know what, I'm going to give that person the respect in order to communicate effectively. Avoid one thing you want to do is make sure your body language, you avoid having that negative body language that shows that you're not listening to that person. To make sure you take the time to sit down, clear your mind, get off the cell, the text and everything, and be able to listen, sit down and listen to what the person has to say. Another thing is rephrase or paraphrase what you think you heard, because sometimes we can think that the person said one thing and they were meaning something altogether different. You have sometimes people that if you rephrase what you think you heard, and then in their mind they're gonna call you a liar. No, that's not what I said. You're lying on me or whatever. That person has a problem with communication, okay? And therefore, it's best to shut the conversation all the way down when there's accusation, when there's name calling, or whatever case may be. If that person cannot properly communicate with you without name calling, without raising their voice, without yelling at you, then it's time to shut that conversation all the way down. Another thing is to ask open-ended question, which makes that, which causes that person to be able to elaborate further. Well, let me just give you an example of an open-ended question. My understanding of this situation is that you want to have more hours in the day, or you want to spend less time at work or whatever, and then you leave them room to be able to elaborate more, or instead of just saying, well, you just want more time at work, bam. Or do you just want more time at work? You want to leave it open and give them options in order to choose whatever it is that's best for them, to help them with their communication, so that you can elicit more information in order to gain a better understanding of what they're trying to say. Another thing is build your emotional intelligence. Build your emotional intelligence. And that means empathizing with someone. For example, it can make that conversation more easier in order to have with that person. Access your own feelings. You know, if you're not aware of your own feelings or behaviors, then you could trigger some things that may not be the best in that conversation. Make sure to understand what pushes your buttons. So you know that when you talk to someone that they have a tendency to push your buttons, then you have to go with that mindset to say, you know what? I know that they say certain things that tends to push my buttons. So let me already be talking to myself that I'm not going to allow this individual to push my buttons. So you have to be aware of your own emotional intelligence that would help you to be able to effectively communicate with that person. And also, let me just say this. You also have to know when to walk away or hang up that phone. Okay, if a person is just very rude, condescending, yelling, screaming, name calling, then you have to say, you know what? I'm going to end this conversation until we can have a calmer spirit in this conversation. Because you have some people that feel like, and this is even with family, parents, or whatever case may be, it's not disrespectful. If you have a parent that's yelling, screaming, or whatever case may be, and they're not communicating with you, then you can say, you know what, we need to table this, and let's talk about this at a later time. All right. But when you're dealing with maybe a bullying type of parent, they will make you feel like, if you hang up this phone on me, then you know I'm not hanging up the phone. What I'm saying is, let's table this, and we'll have to come back to it at another time when we both got calmer heads, and make sure you get off the phone. That is not disrespect. That is saying that, you know what, I have to allow myself to be respected, as well as me not allowing you to put me in a position to disrespect you. And this is when I'm talking about for as those who are adults. This is also with the children as well. You know what? Let's table this. We'll get back with you later on this when we have calmer heads, so that neither one of us will disrespect the other. Because the Bible also says, fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath. So that means that respect goes in both directions when you're talking about even older children. The children are supposed to respect the parents, and the parents are supposed to respect the children. It doesn't mean that you talk to your children any kind of way just because you are a parent, and at the same time, children are supposed to show that same respect. However, children, if you're an adult child and you're not living at home, and you have parents or a parent that refuses to respect you, then you can say, you know what, let's table this until we can come back with calmer heads. And therefore, I will not be put in a position to disrespect you, but at the same time, I will also not allow you to disrespect me. And that right there is respectable and a way to handle a situation of that nature. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Count me through thick and thin, a friendship that will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Call on me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on. I can see it's hurting you. I can feel your pain. It's hard to see the sunshine through the rain. Oh, I know sometimes it seems as if it's never gonna end, but you'll get through it. Just don't give in, 'cause you can. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Call me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me.
And that is Count on Me by CeCe Winans and the late Whitney Houston. All right, so we're still talking about communication. Number 7, develop a workplace communication strategy, because many times your personal communication strategy overflows into your workplace communication strategy if you have one. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're able to communicate with your customers, with your clients, the managers, employees, and you might have those that are a little bit challenging when it comes to communicating with them. So again, what we talked about before, be clear and concise about what it is that you're trying to relay. Make sure that you might, if you're dealing with a manager, make sure you choose the appropriate time to try to communicate things with them. Do they prefer email? Do they have an open door policy where you walk in? Do you need to schedule an appointment? Make sure that you schedule the appropriate time in order to talk to them. As soon as they get in the door in the morning on Monday morning, may not be the best time to approach them with the situation that you're trying to talk about for us communication wise. Maybe an issue or something of that nature. And so try to catch them in the best mood that you can. Again, watch your tone. Watch even in your emails, because emails can be angry. Okay, and when you put messages, sometimes messages are angry. Let me just say this: social media has brought out the nastiness in a lot of people. Okay, they're just some nasty individuals, and you need to watch your tone. Oftentimes people, what they won't say to you face to face, they'll do it as in a cowardly manner over email, over message, or on social media. And instead of, you know what, let me just say this. One time, someone had disagreed with my stance on something biblically. And the one thing I appreciated with this person is they didn't try to blast me on social media. They sent me a private message, and they was very nice with it. And they was like, well, sis, I don't agree with this, and this is why I don't, or whatever the case may be. And I really appreciated that person. We didn't agree, but, even after that, we didn't agree on that particular situation, but we actually became friends. And I respected the individual because of the way that they handled things, even when they were not in agreement with it. And that makes a difference. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree. And many people have lost that art of being able to say, you know what, well, you might, let me use this for example. One of the biggest debates on social media when it comes to Christians is pre, mid, or post-trib rapture. Okay. So you have some that believe in pre, some that believe in mid, some believe in post. And you get the nastiest stuff. I mean, people really show their colors on there, because you get them being very, very nasty when it comes to that particular subject. However, one thing that I have learned as a strategy for that is, for us with me, the Bible lets us know, Apostle Paul says to be at peace with all people as much as it depends on you. So I can't control what someone else does, but I can control what I do. So whereas I used to believe in post trib, and now, make a long story short, God gave me revelation about the pre-trib. Well, let me just say this. What I do is I just tell people, be ready at all times, whether you pre, mid, or post. And that way it resolves that argument of, people getting nasty with one another. But you're still going to have those that, will try to get nasty. So what I do is, when I have someone that's disrespectful, then I block them. Okay, because I don't have to deal with anyone's disrespect, whether in person or on social media. I would not be disrespected. And you have to do this even when it comes to family. Sometimes you might have parents or siblings or someone that is just totally, they're emotional and verbal bullies. And should you have to deal with that just because they're in your family? No, you do not. If someone cannot be emotionally mature enough to be able to talk in a calm manner with respect, then guess what? that person, I do not have to allow them to disrespect me and then cause me to be put into a position that I don't want to be in because I'm trying to fight out of a corner. You can control that. You may not be able to control that person, but you can do your best to make it clear or make yourself at peace at all times by not interacting or allowing that person to be disrespectful to you. Last but not least, create a positive organizational culture. And basically, you want to, especially this is when you're on a job or when you're on in a family, you want to be able to have a trusting dialogue. You want to be empathetic. You want to be able to have open communication and be willing to listen to other people's points of view, because guess what? You're not always going to agree. But guess what? The thing that makes us different is and unique is that we all have our views. We all have our opinions. We all have different walks of life. Now, when it comes to those that for us the Bible, then there's certain things that the Bible that we have to stand on. But at the same time, we can disagree in love, okay? Because it comes a time where you say, you know what? We're not going to come to any resolution on this particular topic. So therefore, let's just table it and we just have to agree to disagree. But you have some people that just want to keep debating. And what I've done now is I block them, especially on social media. If you're the type that I see that's argumentative, and I'm not saying you have to agree with me, but there's a way to do it. It's a way to say, you know what, I don't agree with this particular view, but you know, I'm going to be respectful because it's your page. And then what gets me when people want to go on someone else's page and start arguing. Now, it's one thing to say, you know what, no, I don't agree with this. You know, I think that, you know, brother or sister, that it might be this way or that way, but you know, I'm being respectful that this is your page and this is, you know, your particular stance on it. So, you know, I'll bow out on that. But you have some people that are just nasty and they want to engage you. And so therefore they'll keep trying to. I had someone recently that was doing this on social media. It was their page and it was something that they said. And, you know, I put seriously, you know, and I put question mark, but that's all I did. I didn't, you know, attack the person or anything like that because I was surprised that they was taking that, you know, point of view. However, the person came back at me, well, what's your problem or whatever? And I'm like, I didn't say anything out of the way to the person. I made sure to make a point of not saying anything out of the way. So, you know, I elaborated for us, you know, my view on things. And I said, but, you know, respectfully, and I started off respectfully because I wanted to make sure that they knew that I was not trying to debate or you know, but anyway, make a long story short, the person had, I found out, based upon their dialogue with me, that they had an argumentative spirit. So whereas I left it, I said, you know, God bless you. And I just left it at that. And they came back, well, God bless you too, but listen to this, sis. And it was an argumentative trying to debate, they were really trying to pull me into a debate. And so what I decided to do, I was like, you know what? I didn't respond. I just deleted my comment, blocked the individual, and left it at that. And that's way you can have peace. And you don't have to allow somebody to antagonize you and cause you to or draw you into a debate. Because oftentimes when you're dealing with narcissists, they will try to draw you into a debate. And you can say, you know what, not today. I don't have to. And one thing, let me just say this, especially I have found with me living by myself, you know, I have my cats and dogs, but let me just say this. I don't have to have anybody that brings disruption in my home. God has given me the authority over this particular house. And so therefore, this is, I don't have to allow anyone to bring any type of drama into my home. I'm blessed where I don't have any kids. I don't have a husband. It's just me and my animals. So therefore, any drama that gets brought into my home would be me allowing it to come. But I don't have to allow anyone's drama to come and affect my home. I can have peace in my own own house. So therefore, you have to establish that as well to say, you know what, I'm going to, when I can't effectively communicate with a person because, maybe that person is a little more challenging and wants to have an argument in the spirit, then I'm going to have that peace as we know in the word that tells us that surpasses all understanding. That is the peace of God. All right. We are up out of here. I pray that today's podcast has been a blessing to you and that you will know your feelings do matter. Until next time.
We want to thank you for taking the time to join us today on Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Until next time.